Hello, everyone. As a young woman, I can confidently say that in the morning when I wake up and I apply even the smallest amount of concealer, some mascara, and the perfect lip color, I look forward to it every morning. My confidence just absolutely skyrockets. So, have you ever wondered where it was formed and why and how makeup became to be? Makeup has been around for centuries, actually, and it was first originated in ancient Egypt in 4000 BCE. And it has drastically evolved since its founding and its pioneering. It has always kind of had the purpose of improving self confidence in the wearer, but some of the ideals and some of the different reasons why the ancient Egyptians actually applied makeup is different to the reasons that a lot of people wear makeup today. And since makeup and beauty are big hobbies of mine and things that I'm very passionate about, I do consider myself a great candidate to be speaking about this today. It's almost incomprehensible how similar a lot of the things that the ancient Egyptians were doing and some of the materials that they were making the makeup out of, how similar that those materials are to what has actually been used today. But they've just kind of become more modernized versions of what was used back then. So many people in ancient Egypt wore makeup to feel beautiful, but they also did it for a few other reasons that they found very important to them. So one of those was to feel closer to the gods and to be more godlike themselves. They believed that if they wore makeup, then they would be one with the gods. And makeup held a really, really big importance in spirituality and symbolism. So, one example of this symbolism was the fact that they would use different pigments from various animals that would be ground up into really, really fine little powders. And then they would be applied to the face in different manners. And if this person was wearing this makeup made from a specific animal, then it was believed that they would be endowed with that same spiritual power and significance that the animal once had. And then different palettes of these animals were made in different shapes. So, for example, this is the shape of a palette that was made to be a fish, and the fish was believed to have significance to them that had to do with fertility. So whoever used the palette shaped like a fish, then they would be endowed with that power. So, for example, one thing that has really had a sharp parallel to today's trends in makeup is the winged eyeliner look. So when you think of ancient Egypt, you probably think of makeup that looks similar to this with the winged liner, and that was because they were the ones who actually started that. So the winged eyeliner was made of this substance called coal, and coal was a mineral that was ground up and then made into a pencil shape so they could apply it to their eyes. And not only did this have a significance that made them, it was a status symbol, it was also an adaptive, kind of had like an adaptive component to it because they lived in the hot desert sun and they needed something to kind of protect their eyes, so it would protect the wearer from the harshness of the sun. So like I said, it did have a very stark contrast between the different classes of people. The wealthier would be wearing the winged liner, and that was a symbol of wealth because they were the people that had access to these materials. So makeup was seen as a very big differentiation of these statuses. So another thing that was very indicative of the statuses of these different people was the actual containers that the makeup was held in, which was valued as more of a status symbol than the makeup itself. A lot of the lower, less wealthy classes also had access to these products. So one way that the wealthier people could separate themselves from the lower class people was by putting it in more expensive containers, such as alabaster and ivory, which were expensive, hard to find, and things that the less wealthy people could not. These makeup containers would also usually be bedazzled in some way, and they would be handcrafted. And the poorer people only really had access to clay, like clay containers or clay applicators for their makeup. And it's very interesting to kind of see how this makeup has changed in its usage and just the whole reasoning behind why people actually wore it. But just like how makeup has drastically changed in the actual usage and the reasoning behind it has shifted since then, I do believe that it will continue to do that over time. I also think that one thing will always remain the same with the use of makeup, and that is it does enhance the wearer's confidence. It makes them feel more beautiful, and that has been one of the reasons why people wore makeup to begin with. A famous makeup artist and brand owner once said, her name is Bobbi Brown, "I believe all women are pretty without makeup, but with the right makeup can be pretty powerful." Thank you.